Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about emotions, and really, we're on the board. We're going to be going over my top five positive emotions, top five negative emotions, and definitely sticking around to the end because we're going to be going over another list of why there's 10 other emotions that we should just be looking out for, other popular ones, and how emotions are like a TV. There's different channels. And if we can focus on the right channels, I believe we can improve the quality of our lives. This is on emotions. Enjoy the episode, folks. Cheers. Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of the Talk to Taryn Morning Show, where we go over tips, tricks, and ideas to help you become the absolute best person you can be, not only for yourself, but for the people you love and care about most. I'm going to do a quick little audio check. I think I still heard my audio on the wrong one. Test. Sticker works. All right, we're rocking and rolling, folks. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. We are rocking and rolling. It is episode 434, and today we're going to be talking about emotions. And I really like this analogy of how emotions are like channels on a television station. There's lots of them. They're always there, but unless you turn the channel directly to the emotion, we don't necessarily feel it. It doesn't necessarily play a role in our lives. Maybe right now you're having a good morning, you're getting up and you're getting sprucing with it, you're tuning into the show and you're feeling good. And things like anger and frustration, or some of the other ones that we're going to be going over, they're not necessarily here right now, but they're still within us. And I think raising that awareness and building this muscle of focusing on the channels and the emotions that we want more in our lives can improve the quality of our lives. But it's one of those things where you don't even, for me, for the longest time, I didn't even know I was like frustrating myself. I didn't even know what emotion was going on. I think until we turn that spotlight on and do some self-digging, it's really hard. But enough of that. Let's get into a couple of the top five positive and negative emotions. And then we're just going to ask you a couple coaching questions to see how often you're feeling, when do they come up, because we're looking for patterns. There's something, if the human brain is good at anything, it's a prediction machine. Our goal is to predict because our goal is to survive, to see our kids have kids, the grandchildren methodology to purpose in life. But to get this on, let's go ahead and start with the positive list. So the first one is joy, and these are mine. They are not yours. So maybe you have a few different ones, but I think a lot of them encompass into the same thing, really. But okay, the second one is love. The third one is gratitude. Gratitude. I see gratitude as an emotion. Gratitude for number three. The fourth is contentment. Contentment. And fifth, and our final is serenity. 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 Okay, these are my top five lists. Let's kind of look over them. Joy. Joy would really be a feeling of great happiness. Love is a deep affection and attachment. Gratitude, a sense of thankfulness and appreciation. Contentment, satisfaction. And lastly, serenity, like calmness and tranquility, accomplished. Like you could essentially say peace, but I like the fancy word serenity. It makes me feel better. And the words don't literally matter versus the feelings and the emotions that we have with them. So whatever. These are my flavors. These are my top five positive emotions. So maybe you're thinking this morning, what are my top five positive emotions that I feel in a given week? I think when we go beyond a week, then we start we use stories and old habits and behavior. Just really try and think of recent feelings, not try to think too much, just like feelings and situations and what were the positive emotions that came up. Maybe you're talking with your child, maybe you're talking with your family, maybe you're talking to your best friend, maybe you were working on your business. What are the emotions that continue to come up? So go ahead and make your list of your top 5 positive emotions. And mine were joy, love, gratitude, contentment, and serenity. So let's go on to the negative ones, right? Because with the survival structure, the monkey mind, the clouds coming in, the cars on the highway running by, like we talk about all the time, negative emotions are just as prevalent as positive ones. And the unfortunate truth is we tend to turn the channel to continue to stay on this TV metaphor to the negative ones a lot more. So these were my top 5 negative emotions. Again, this is my personal list. Think of on your own, but a lot of them I've noticed that allow through my client. I'm sure it's because I surround myself with people with similar values, but these are really common. The top positive emotions ones I feel are really common to my clients, essentially also with the negative ones. So the first on the negative list is anger. When we get angry, the piece of chalk. The next one is sadness. They say anger is just a top layer to sadness, but I separate the emotions out myself. Okay, the next one is fear. The next one is disgust. And again, this is my list, not your list, but kind of just getting in the ballpark. You know what I'm saying? You know how I'm feeling this morning. We're just trying to get a list of our negative emotions. We're trying to find the patterns, the activities, the people who no longer serve us that are pulling these bad boys up. Maybe it's the limiting beliefs. Maybe it's the stories. Maybe it's the narratives. And on to number 5 is anxiety. Okay, anxiety. I put anxiety as emotion because it's like this intense feeling, and depends how you define an emotion, but for me, anxiety makes the list. Okay, so we got our top 5 positive emotions: joy, love, gratitude, contentment, and serenity. And we have our top 5 negative emotions: anger, sadness, fear, disgust, anxiety. Now we want to really go in another layer with this idea of what we focus on. Focus equals feeling. And we can only have one channel at a time. So thinking of the TV example, maybe you have a new with technology, who knows, you might have to have 2 screens, and that's probably why we get anxiety, because we're all over the place. But thinking on a TV, just thinking of our minds, because our minds are pretty prehistoric still compared to the TVs and the technology, still thinking of one emotion at a time. One emotion. My question for you as you're going throughout your day today is, what channel are you going to tune into? What channel? Are you going to tune into channel 1 of joy? Are you going to tune into channel 2 of love? Are you going to tune into channel 3 of gratitude? Or are you going to tune into channel like 18 of fear? Channel 20 of anger? Where is our focus going to be? Because our focus on the emotion that we pick, our focus is going to be our feeling. And our feeling is our reality. When you think of humans, we are emotional creatures. So as emotional creatures, we embody in this, and these emotions will take over the present moment. And the present moment is our reality. So it's pretty wild that there's such, we could probably run off depending on your definition of emotions, we could run the gauntlet and we could get tools and AI and whatever, probably to make up a list of about 1,000 of these bad boys. But really, they all kind of come back to just a few, depending on your values. And some of love is one of my values. So thinking of these positive emotions as values and opportunities to tune in to the right channel today. So whatever you're doing, maybe you're thinking of an activity that's been weighing on you a little bit, that's causing you some anxiety. It's causing you a little bit of fear, and the lack of action towards it's causing some sadness. You see how these bad boys can really intertwine. and pile up. So we find one of these situations that we're maybe procrastinating or something like that. We're not working out. We're not writing our book. We're not taking action on our relationships, whatever it is. And we're thinking of, how can we flip the switch? How can we change the channel to be in a positive state of mind? How can we have a positive emotion going into this? I know we just recently talked about on the show the 3 Ps. Maybe we need to make it a more playful situation with funny, fun background music, classical music. Maybe we need to just find a partner, someone who we love, we care about, we look up to. And when we surround ourselves with these types of people, then we don't really care. And then we're already locked in and we're ready to take it on. Or maybe we just want to feel more powerful and we want to know that, and we just have like contentment for what is right here and right now. Contentment's a special one. It makes me pause because, like, I want to be better and I want to be the best, but I'm not a fool to see that, like I really do enjoy my life, and I'm so grateful for my youth, and I'm so grateful for my health, and like my girlfriend and my family and so many of these things. But I also want to, I want to push past my uncomfortability, my fear, I do have a lot of fear. I do believe there's still a big part of me that's like very fearful of success, because I would be like leaving behind the life that I've kind of created today for myself. That's really good. There's some fear. There's sometimes I get probably fear and anxiety more than anything than the other ones. But you see what I mean by, it's so easy to have this little bit of a war, a civil war between the positive and the negative emotions that are going on to our head. And I want us to try and write a new story today. What was the old story? The old story was, I was fearful of success. The new story is, I'm going from self to service, baby. I'm selling something that is truly helping people, or whatever it is you do. Maybe you contribute to getting food onto the table for individuals. Maybe you contribute to making people look and feel beautiful. Maybe you're affecting a family member within for people to make their environment better. Whatever it is, if we can go from self, which seems like the state of suffering. I tend to only suffer when I'm thinking about me. In most situations, I'm sure there's some really smart people who could pick that apart. But really, when I'm thinking about it, when I am suffering, it's usually because I'm just focused on myself. And if I can go from self to service, maybe the state will allow me and make it just easier. Because I mean, we can do anything, right? You can force anything. You can force yourself, meditate all day, or do the yogi practices, or just be so will strong that you could be in a state of positive emotion more over time, building that muscle up. But realistically, to just make it as easier, I think changing the foundation and changing the channel and changing like myself from working on myself to making just a bigger impact for other people. So maybe you don't do it for yourself today. Maybe you don't focus on the right channels for not only yourself, but for the people around you. Here's another analogy. Okay, so we have a couple kids over at the house, and I turn the channel to anxiety. I turn the channel to anxiety. Your channel is like what you're focusing on at any point, because you can't have two thoughts at one time. So we're just kind of in one emotional state at a time. It can feel a little confusing and the waters get murky, but really we're at one emotional state at a time. And I turn the TV channel in Tanner's brain to anxiety. And I have kids around me. I have people around me. What channel are they going to be watching along with me? They're going to be watching the channel of anxiety. So maybe I don't do it for myself. Maybe I turn the channel to love. Maybe I want these kids to feel love. Maybe I want these people around me to feel love. Maybe I want these people to see me as my identity, and I want to show up as the person who's in a state of love, in a state of contentment, serenity, joy, like so many of my top 5 emotions that really do a good job of anchoring and representing my values as well. But this was just a quick reminder, a fun little exercise that I like to do for people is, so say if you and I were sitting down one-on-one, we were in a coaching session. I'm like, all right, Tanner, well, you had us right on the board, sadness. When do you feel that? Do you feel it in a particular part of your body? Does it have a shape? Is it pokey? Is it a blob? Does it have color? Do you feel it anywhere particular in your body? These emotions, we try to attach it to feelings. Feelings kind of are this, it's the energy that we have the ability to work through. I get it. It's early, Tanner. We're talking woo-woo, but just this stuff's got to be worked on, or it comes out of you whether you like it or not. So woo-woo or not, believe me, there was so many ways I used to lash out and I get so angry, and really underneath it was a lot of sadness. But my point is, we can address these emotions and we can try and figure out what are the patterns. People are a lot more consistent than they give themselves credit to. It's just we tend to unfortunately be consistent with the things that hurt us most. And that can be negative emotions leading to addictive behaviors, addictive compounds and chemicals like nicotine, alcohol, marijuana, whatever, can kind of head you down the rabbit hole of being stuck in that state. So if I can look at this list and I can identify the habits, the patterns, or just the beliefs, narrative stories that I'm telling myself around these negative emotions, and I can continue to question and investigate the feelings that I'm focusing on in my body, the channel I'm turning, maybe I don't want to watch that channel anymore. And I think sometimes it unfortunately takes a lot of pain for somebody to change. Tony Robbins is coined for talking about how people, if they are in enough pain, then they will change. If the state of pain is greater by staying the same than changing, then you will change. That might sound a little confusing. But if your pain is great enough right here, right now, if it's truly that great, we will change. Because or else we'll inevitably do what? We'll die. If it's that unbearable, then so we need to change. I personally, not that this episode's life or death, but I just want to watch the TV that I want. I don't want to watch the TV that rots my brain and makes me feel sad and like takes away the precious quality of my health, my youth, my time with my family. So ask yourself, what garbage channels are coming onto your television that are distracting you from being the person that you want to be? I want to show up as the person who's got some damn gratitude. I have an awesome life. I really do. I firmly believe that. And because of this belief, I'm happier more often. So we just want to get this list down. Again, the exercise is you would write down your top 5 emotions, positive ones. You'd write down your top 5 negative emotions. And then you'd remember that you can only focus on one thing at a time, and you got one channel. And then just look for the activities that you're tripping up on. Look for the activities that are causing us to be in a negative state. And then start questioning, how can I change this? Maybe I could get up earlier. Maybe I could stop smoking weed. Maybe I could quit drinking for 30 days. Maybe for me, it's usually been habits. Like when I do that, when I quit habits or I do something, it gives me a bunch of confidence and evidence that I'm heading in the right direction. And then I just naturally am in the positive state more often. But for you, that's for you to figure out and for you to decide. You may need to talk to a coach. You may need to talk to a therapist. You may need to talk to a best friend, somebody about what's going on. I know journaling's great and all that, but I'm a big believer in systems. And that's why I developed the one-page life plan over here for this. So if you want, here's a free giveaway. I can just give it to you guys for free. But if you want to connect with your positive emotions, I usually think the best way to do that would be through, let me go ahead and change this over. Add to stage. If you want to just do this values exercise, so maybe if I refresh, it'll pop up. It should have a pop-up here in like a couple seconds. There it is. All right. I'm glad it actually worked. Okay, but you can just get your values worksheet here for free. You just got to give me your email address and then I'll send it right over to you. But it's an incredible worksheet. It's great. And you can learn about your values. You can learn about really who you are. And then it makes this exercise of positive emotions and negative emotions that much easier. But really, we want to make sure we're questioning the channel that we're turning in today. And we're tuning into the TV channels and emotions that are representing the life and how we truly want to show up. Okay. All right. So you can get that over at 1plp.com. All right, folks, that's all I had. We went over the top 5 positive emotions, negative emotions, and turning into the channel we feel what we focus on. But you guys make sure to tune in tomorrow. Tomorrow we had a really fun podcast recording with Blue Lotus Neuropsychology. They do a lot of testing, whether it's for ADHD or just people trying to get psychological tests based on like insight. It's a really unique service, and I thought it was really cool, whether the autism testing or they just do, they have some coaching options or individual therapy services. But either way, you'll have to check out Chelsea and Desiree were on there, Psych D's. So I had a really fun time talking to Blue Lotus and what they have going on, but make sure to tune into that tomorrow morning. That goes live at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. All right, folks, go over to 1plp.com to get your values exercise, but that's all I have for today. You guys have an incredible, incredible day. In case you needed to hear it, I love you. You're a badass. You got this. Whew. It's going to be a big day. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited. Tuning into the positive channels today, baby. You watch out for it. I'll be there. Hopefully you will be too. Cheers, friends. I'm out. Till next time. Peace.